So I thought I'd just do a little video to explain how my Tuesday is looking. I have an interview today. I'm both excited and nervous for it. This will be my second Zoom interview. I thought I would give a little breakdown of how I found the first one and what my expectations are for this one. Hopefully, to be successful would be good. So the first time I had a Zoom interview was about 2 weeks ago. I didn't do any kind of online prepping or anything like that because I already felt quite secure in the format. Obviously, with the pandemic, everybody's been using Zoom, and usually I set these up for work when other people are coming to interview for posts within where I work. So I've kind of been on the other side. So it's interesting for me to be on this side, to have this experience. As a candidate, it was really simple. I received my email, it had the link in it. You just click the link and it takes you straight to the interview room. So all very user-friendly. You don't have to be super tech savvy to be able to figure it out. You do have to have the app already installed on your phone or tablet, whichever way you're using it. And you do have to kind of make sure that you haven't got kind of any background noise. So right now I have my fireplace on and it's electric. There is a noise coming from it. I know it doesn't register, so I can leave it on, but if I was to have, say, like my kids running around or have the radio on, make sure all of these things are turned off. Also, I'm sat by a window, so I have to be mindful that maybe some of the outside traffic can be heard. That might not be the best place for me to have an interview, but because I have really good double glazing, I know it's not so bad. Also, I have one of the latest phones, so that usually has a really good noise cancelling technology in there. To prepare for the Zoom, I like to dress my area, so I clear it all over. I've placed this really nice throw over my sofa to kind of make it all look one color, all kind of like a block, so that nothing distracts me or the person interviewing me from what I'm saying. I also think it's important to not have any distractions around, so everywhere else is pretty much clear in my line of vision. I can't really see anything. And I have a phone stand, which I have my phone in now. So I know everything is going to be stable, everything's going to be super cool, super crystal. I don't have to worry for anything. There's a few pros and cons to having Zoom interviews. So for me, the biggest pro is the comfort of being in my own home, that I can practice in the location where I'm going to be. I don't have to worry about being late for anything. I don't have to worry about being in an unfamiliar environment. I've got all of the comforts that I need, including like a really nice, really well-made coffee, so I can just feel comfortable before going into this interview. I've also, like my pro tip is make sure that you have any notes that you might require for any questions that you know will come up. So if you interview for jobs that you've kind of been similar or, you know, been in roles that are identical, you kind of know what the expectation is. And if you've been in a role for a really long time, you can forget what the important parts or the important aspects of your role are. So I like to make little bullet points or just like little lists, things that are not necessarily going to naturally flow from me when I'm being asked a question, so I can answer responsibly. But also, if I do forget, I have little trigger points dotted around to help me. Also, it's really good this way because I feel almost comforted. It's almost like a comfort blanket, because I feel like if I ever forget anything, I have viable answers all around. The other pros to Zoom interviews, I find, is you are given a unique perspective as an interviewee, because not only do I see the person who's interviewing me, but I can also see myself. So I get their perspective of how I'm coming across. So right now, I'm looking really calm, I'm looking really chilled. I know this because I'm obviously doing just a random video at home. I'm not going to be sat straight up. I'm not going to be like looking really professional. I'm just chilled right now, which is great because usually half an hour before an interview, I'm freaking out. But no, I feel pretty calm. I feel pretty ready for this. Yeah, so it's really good because not only do you see how you're coming across, you can also gauge their reaction when they're listening to you. You can see how professional you're looking when you're talking to the employers, and also you can also see your body language, which is really important because you don't want to be giving the wrong message. And sometimes when you're thinking really hard about things, you're not paying attention to what your body's doing. Automatically it starts reflecting how you're feeling. So if you're feeling quite nervous, your body will give you away. Your facial expressions will give you away. It's really good to be able to see yourself, because that prompts you to say, oh, okay, I need to just kind of sit back a bit more. I need to put my arms down. I need to remember to smile. And that's really fantastic, because usually in an interview, you don't get to see that stuff. So it's almost like a leg up in the right direction. Is there any negatives to Zoom interviews? Well, yes and no. I think this is a fantastic way to interview. I think it's a fantastic way to be interviewed, because you can have everything you need right there in front of you without feeling really messy or really restricted. The negatives for Zoom, obviously, if you're not very tech savvy, you can feel quite overwhelmed having to use the technology. You can feel overwhelmed by the fact that, you know, in an environment like your home, anyone can ring the bell. Or if you have kids, anyone can run in. Or, you know, anything can go wrong in your house and you have to quickly attend to it. Whereas if you're in an establishment, there's somebody else to deal with that. That's not your concern. And if anything that goes wrong, that's not on you, that's on them. So that's the negative. But it's only going to be 20 minutes. Not much can go wrong in 20 minutes, especially if you've accounted for everything. So it's pretty low that something's going to happen in that time. Is there anything else I can impart? I don't think so. I think that's everything. Always make sure to have a drink available as well. I think that's really important, because if you are asked a question and you need a quick moment to think about it, you can always be like, excuse me, and then just have a drink. Really milk the moment though. So you just like, one moment please. Thanks. Sorry about that. Sorry, what was the question again? And then that's given you a good 3 seconds for your brain to process what you've just heard, retrieve the answer from the depths of your brain, and then come out with this fantastic answer that they probably weren't expecting from you. So yeah, and it's always important to get them to repeat the question, so it looks like you've answered quick, fast, and that you wasn't thinking about the question at all. I guess that's pro tip number 2. Yeah, and that's it really. Just try and not be nervous, because I feel like in a format like this, it can be really overwhelming sometimes. And especially if you can see yourself and you don't do well with looking at yourself, some people can get really wrapped up in that. But I see it as a real pro, and a real positive for all the reasons I mentioned before. So just try and roll with it, because this is new for everyone really. You know, employers, they don't really know what they're doing either. We've all had to adapt to this crazy situation, and I think everyone's done really, really well. So don't be hard on yourself. Just roll with it, have fun with it, and hopefully be successful with it. Okay, I'll let you know how it goes, I guess. Fingers crossed.